All right, guys, welcome to episode 4 of General Chit Chat. Today I'm here with Chris McBride from Strength Coach NI.
Well, Paul, how are you?
I'm not too bad, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. Thanks very much for coming on, dude.
No problem at all.
Yeah. So let's just talk some shit, dude.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
So start with personal training and your business as such. Like, how'd you get started?
Well, I mean, with Strength Coach NI, I'll just talk about that first. I've really only been running Strength Coach NI now for 2 years.
Okay.
However, I've been a coach for almost 10 years. So I pretty much started out the generic route. I was like 20 years old. At that time, I was big, I think I put a post on this the other day. I was big into DJing. And that was kind of what I thought I was going to do as a career. You know, everyone has that wee dream of something stupid that they're going to do. And that was mine at the time. And then I had applied for a music technology course. And then I had to go and do this test at the time. It's like, you're listening to different songs and you were deciphering and all this crap. Done that, passed the test, but I didn't get into the course. I was like, fuck this, what are you going to do? I went to Belfast Met opening day. I was just walking around. It was one of those ones, like, I am the hypocrite of all hypocrites right here, because I was pretty much at that time like, you know what, I love training. I'm sure I'll enjoy this. Signed up for a personal training course. Year-long course, 6 months fitness instructing, 6 months personal training. A couple of weeks into that course, I get a phone call from HR staff being like, we've made an error on our end and you've been accepted to the music technology class. You know, it's only 2 weeks in if you'd still like to join it. But mate, I just knew then, and I know it sounds very cheesy, but that was like 10 years ago. I knew then I was doing the right thing. You know, I was just in love with it, mate. Like, just everything about it. I wanted to know about the science, the practical application, you name it. I wanted to know about it, and I was hooked. Year later, that's done. And I was still in that zone where, you know, unfortunately, where a lot of personal trainers don't have now, where they just get their certification and they're like, oh, I know everything. That's me.
Don't
PTing.
educate themselves.
Yeah.
Don't keep educating themselves.
Thankfully, I went down the opposite route, and I got another call from Belfast Met HR being like, or Belfast Met HR, sorry, saying that I'd been accepted to a level 5 sports science HND. Now, I had very little qualifications sport related prior to that personal training, so that was a big thing for me. You know, and then I went through and done the 2 years, level 5 HND, which thankfully then I got a distinction in that, which I went over to Preston, UCLan University, done a degree in strength and conditioning, which then led to a master's in sports science as well. So there was a lot of education further, you know, along the scenes as well. And then on the side of that, I mean, I was working in fucking Tesco for about 6 years trying to pay for my studies. Doing freelance personal training, working as a fitness instructor, just anything you get your hands on in that industry. I was like, right, do it. And then it was really only in 2016 I moved back from England to Belfast, and I was just like, right, I'm going to launch into this, you know, full time. And the thing is that was what a lot of people lack now. They don't see the 10 years of hard work to that. They just see the short term 2 years of what I suppose called success. And it's like, but there was a big journey to get to those two. And even now, I've got a longer journey ahead of all this stuff, you know?
In terms of, like, the journey ahead, it's daunting because it's always changing. Like, there's always new information coming out. Oh, yeah. And you have to try and stay on top of it. And obviously, you've 10 years of education and experience behind you there. Whenever I was personal training, I remember bringing a load of books in for guys to read, you know, here, check out this book, like, these are going to make you...
Yeah, you gave me the nutrition Bible. You probably don't even remember that. Remember I took that weightlifting seminar for the train station. On that day, you were like, mate, check out, you were reading it, and I was like, what's that? And I swear, like, that's something that always stands in your head. Someone who passes on, like, something like that, like a book, something that's useful, and that was a great book, you know, I got a lot from it. Still actually read over it the odd time now. Though nutrition is not my forte, I kind of step away from it because that is the biggest blur line in the industry at the minute. I'm sure you'll agree.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it's just like, I'm a strength and conditioning coach by trade. I'm going to be the strength and conditioning coach. There's great nutritionists out there. Let them do their job. I'll do mine. Someone wants general nutritional guidance, that's fine, but that's as far as it goes. Yeah. Stick with what you know and let others who know what they're doing do their fucking job.
Absolutely, you know? Absolutely. That book by Patrick Halford, the Optimum Nutrition Bible, that was what actually changed everything for me in terms of personal training and health as such. Because prior to it, I read any nutrition was what really got me. So it was. Sorry, 2 seconds.
You're right. You spilling shit, mate?
No, I know. Set that you hear the coffee being set down on the table. So if you set it in that there, it doesn't vibrate through the thing. Yeah, sorry. As I was saying, yeah. So I 2010 did my personal training, and John Mulhern.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, read the Optimum Nutrition Bible. It's a great book. So prior to that, I used to be 7.5 stone, right? That's the weight I was when I first started training at 20. And for me, it was like, right, I was never putting enough weight on. So I was reading book after book after book. You know, it's carbs, fat, protein, eat this amount of it, and this is the problems. This is why you're not getting weight, or gaining your weight, or this is what you're doing wrong. And then John's like, read the Optimum Nutrition Bible. And you read it, and it's I was expecting the same format, just basically another book going carbs, fat, protein, and instead it's just scientific study after scientific study telling you why the pharmaceutical industry is fucked because you're not eating enough vitamin C, and you know, you're not getting enough fish oils, whatever. And it had absolutely nothing to do with building muscle. It was very much like your health is the most important thing, and if you don't eat some fucking broccoli, you're going to die. So, and at this point, I was just like, as long as I have chicken and rice, I'm sweet, you know. So at that point, it was like, right, I better start eating some vegetables. I better start doing this.
Just take it a bit more serious. I think that's definitely what.
But it changed it for me as well. Is it wasn't just nutrition then. It was like any like strength training manual. Had to have, you know, studies behind it. Do you know, it had to have like
peer reviewed, like research. But that's, you know? I mean, as I say to people all the time, it's not about like the book. It's not about, you know, the paper. It's what you take from it and how you decipher it, how you use it. If you just take everything on face value, then yeah, you're probably going to make some serious mistakes. Like no book is perfect, no journal is perfect, any bit of research is not perfect. You'll always find that's the whole point of critiquing something. But it's what you can take from it. And you say you got a lot from that book, they'll be like, right, I need to actually take my nutrition more serious. I need to get more vitamins, more minerals, and I've got a better understanding of doing it. Where people scoff at that. Yeah. They're like, oh, textbook, you know, load of shite and stuff. For the most part, as I say, I just think it's what you can take from it. It's one thing I definitely not going through this career. Like, everyone's always quick in this industry to knock absolutely everything. Like, their method's best, or, you know, whatever they've read is gospel, and you're going, but it's not. You know, there is a lot of information out there right now, and there's a lot of contradicting information as well. And it's knowing what to take from it, what works for you. And
well, that's the big thing with the nutrition side of things, man. Is like, I mean, strength training. There's obviously like there's variances and techniques. You've got to set up for you can't train for strength all year round. You know, it's got to be periodized, and that's something that I think a lot of young PTs don't know. They're just like, oh, I just train like this all week, all you know, 365 days a year, and you have to obviously, like, you're bound to know this. You know, training for like a competition. You know, you've got to lay up for it. It's got to, you know, have a runway as such, basically. To
I mean, we took a seminar on this quite recently about programming, and you know, it was one of the key things is that how do you train for strength, just as a solid discipline. And yeah, definitely people still get this wrong, and you still see people 1 rep maxing all the time. You still see people, like, I even had a client come in to me recently, just a new one. It's like, so see, whenever I'm doing deadlifts, I just train up to a max then, and then do. I'm like, no, you know, it doesn't work like that. That is a sure way to fire, like, to absolutely fry your central nervous system, your endocrine system, you name it. Like, there's a lot more going on in your body than just muscles and joints, and you have to take care of those too. And I was like, right, okay. But then I'm still seeing high level lifters as such doing this crap, and they're not programming properly. And I'm like, right, there is a problem. Is it the standard of coaching, or is it just a lack of education on the subject? I don't know. But thankfully, I came from a very strength conditioning based background, as I say, and one of the core modules that is programming for a variety of sports. You know, as long as you understand the energy systems, as long as you understand long-term development, then you can break a training cycle down into phases. You say, for me, it's a bit easier. If I know of a competition coming up, you've got a set date, so you know the time frame you have. You've got your preparatory phase and your transition phase, and then your competition phase sorted, and then hopefully you peak in time for competition and you're good to go.
How does your training vary between those 3 stages then?
I mean,
Without giving too much away, you still got to get...
no, Jesus. Well, general training splits, like for me, it's 5 days a week, 2 days recovery. And then, you've got 2 days kind of usually focused around squats and accessories and things like that. 2 days around bench, and then 1 day in deadlift, because it takes the longest to recover from.
Deadlift does?
Yeah, and then coming into a competition, then on a phase outside of a competition, but that format stays the same for the most part. And then coming right up
Just
close to the
rep ranges
competition,
change,
yeah,
sort of thing?
it might change in the sense like I'll do deadlifts at the start of the week, something like that, depending on the recovery aspect. But then, as you say, like it's the rep ranges, the style of training. It gets more specific to powerlifting, so. Like, even in the off-season, which I'm in now, I'm doing a lot of front squats and a lot of high bar squats, things like that. A lot of accessory work.
Can you do front squats now with those arms, for fuck's
Oh, yeah,
sake?
man. I can still do the front rack. I don't know if you see a video. I was gutted because I hit a 200, and that was like a big milestone for me. But I didn't give me it. A few people said it was literally like the hips just needed to be that little centimetre deeper. But I'm having a bit of a problem with depth anyway. If you want to break my heart in this podcast. But I mean, it really is that thing. Like this is what I'm trying to tell people. Sometimes they're like, "Oh, I look fine to me," and I'm like, "Yes, but the hip crease in powerlifting needs to be below the top of the knee joint. That is it. If it's in line with it, if it's parallel, it's not it's not in.
Right,
That's deemed as high. And the problem is with social media squats, like you've got quarter reps and fucking half squatters out there, left, right, and center. They're not even hitting parallel, and that's what people. In powerlifting, it's different. A high squat literally means that your hip crease was either in line with the knee joint or slightly above.
Yeah,
it wasn't below, and that's it. You got to take it on chin.
That's funny about like what somebody might actually consider in just your standard gym, what a high squat is, and what a high squat's considered in an actual powerlifting competition. It's like that's not even a fucking quarter squat over there. It's not a high squat, And
I mean, this is the thing as well. If you want to dwell off, but just sorry, the answer your question, like as I say, the training cycles change. If I'm just in the preparatory phase, yeah, you're generally speaking more volume there, more work on technique, any weaknesses that you found from a previous competition, that's where you start to address those. Percentage wise, you're not going truly sub max, and then as you're transitioning, you start to kind of drop the rep schemes down. The accessory stuff isn't as important, and then, as I say, then you come into your competition phase and everything gets really specific.
So as you get closer to your competition, you start to drop off the accessories?
To not all of them, you still do. It's just not as a big a focus. But I mean, you still like I like to cover my core elements in a program. Like you still got lower body push and pull, upper body push and pull, core work, some rotation stuff in there. Like it still works, and just pretty much if you haven't done the work in the prep phase, there's only so much you're going to do in a comp peak anyway. Like you need it's like building a house, man. I always say you need that foundation in there
100%.
in order to put on the rest of the fancy shit. But powerlifting's there's nothing glamorous about it at the end of the day. If anyone's listening they don't know what it is, it's a 3-lift competition. We've got squat, bench and deadlift, right? That's it.
Yeah.
And it's trying to be hit a maximal lift in each one, and then it gets kind of different as you progress, because it's hard. I try to explain to people, like even on a competition day, it's not like a 1 rep max in a gym. You have to select 3 attempts and you have to be smart with it, warm up to it. Whereas in a gym, it's like we'll just build this up. Maybe we'll start warming up and then we'll put a bit more on the bar,
Essentially, it's just like your what is it?
You've got a target number.
Yeah,
that's it, and you're aiming for it. That's kind of the way.
Like your first lift doesn't want to be that. That essentially wants to be like your third lift. Probably wants to be it.
So your 3-lift selection, what the terminology is known as like your opener, your second, and your third attempt. Your opener, it should be something that you could hit for 2 or 3 reps on a bad day. The second one, depending on what lift it is, should be a calculated jump on top of that to lead you then to a decent third attempt. As you progress, so you find that theory doesn't always work. I've worked with lifters who have had injuries and things like that, so sometimes you play the attempts quite close together just to make sure they get them on the board and they don't risk another injury. And then other times, like as you get more experience, you might be able to take bigger jumps between your lifts and stuff. But as I say, that all comes through experience and learning. There is a lot more to it when you come to that side of things, but if we're just talking in general terms, it literally is just about raw brute strength, you know, in those 3 lifts. There's technical commands. Each of them is just say like you got to hit depth in the squat. The bench press, you actually pause it on your chest, where a lot of the gym bros don't do that. You know, they don't even hit their chest half the time. And then deadlift as well. Like we're not allowed to use straps. We're not allowed to use anything like that. You know, so
what
it
about
is just
no straps, no. So yours like what is it? It's not unassisted. What's the term?
raw, I suppose, or classic.
Raw.
They call it classic, but pure raw boy.
Yeah, so
that'll be classic lifting, but there is equipped powerlifting as well. You know,
that's the term I was looking there.
Yeah, equipped and classic. Classic means pretty much you're only allowed knee sleeves and a belt and wrist straps, but not straps. And then equipped, you're allowed.
What are straps then? Sorry.
So do you know lifting straps that like go around the bar?
Oh yeah,
around your
yeah,
wrist?
okay, yeah.
Whereas wrist wraps are just like a support for your wrist. They don't actually aid in lifting the bar itself.
Yeah, okay. So yeah. I use both, but I only use I was training for powerlifting competition last year.
That's right, yeah.
And fucked my Achilles heel. I was working in the garage, still working in the garage, but the kitchen's upstairs. So it took me fucking 6 months to recover from a fucking
Achilles heel boy.
fucking up and downstairs. The fucking, and it's nothing to be fucking laughed at. Like I couldn't walk down the street at some points. Like
I just laughed at you, like. But
I know.
I know.
But I mean, like just in general, the fucking pain, like you can be in, like walking down the streets, fucking shitty, like. And then it just turned out that all I had to do was change my trainers, and sweet.
This is a big thing at the minute. I'm sure you've seen like about barefoot training and you know.
Well, I would deadlift in Converse things. And then squat in my Addy Powers.
But what are you wearing to work? That's the important thing.
What was I wearing to work? I don't know.
Because I doubt it was. That's probably, as you just said, that's where you've got like it's an overused chronic then based.
Yeah,
injury.
so I went. I just went and bought a pair of Nike trainers to wear to work, and fucking 2 months later, not even a month later, my heel was fine. You know, so I don't know what I was wearing before it, but it was
just probably something, because I mean this is a big topic at the minute with, you know, barefoot training and things like that. You have to condition it. It's like anything else. If you've been wearing a set of trainers for, you know, how old are you, Paul?
35.
35.
Thanks very much for it.
You know, for 35 years, and then suddenly it's like, I'm going to go barefoot, right? I made this mistake too, mate.
It's people jumping into the Fibrums.
I've done it myself. I had like an
too.
Adidas version of those and stuck them on. I was like, oh, look at me, I'm cool as fuck now. I go to the gym, bro. Got these shoes, and then next thing you know, my shins were absolutely shin splints galore, because it was going from wearing. Now, don't get me wrong, I always wore specialist shoes, like so squat shoes, and then flat sole shoes for deadlifts, squat shoes for squats, flat sole shoes for deadlifts. But then it's what you're doing outside of it. Like I'm on a gym floor for 12 hours, whatever else. You gotta look after your feet. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I put a wee post up there on Facebook last week, and my average step count is 16,000 steps a day. Right, and like I'm fucking tattoo artist, dude. I sit down for 8 hours a day, fucking a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So to be hitting 16,000 steps.
But then you're in the bar and stuff, aren't you?
The other couple Mondays ago, I was in the bar, worked a 10-hour shift, and then walked home, and it's 7,000 steps home. So by the end of the day, I'd done 28,000 steps in one day. Like that's fucking 3 days steps.
Yeah,
you know,
for most.
Like working in the bar, when I have to wear trainers because. Simply because it costs too much to wear fucking shoes, because I turn on my right foot, so you wear through your right foot spinning all the time.
Oh, right, okay.
You know, like what is it? 10,000 steps is 8K, I think, right? So
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Well, 16,000 is 10K a day, right? So if you're doing like 10K a day in a pair of fucking just like suit shoes, they don't last.
Yeah,
you know, I was going through a £40 pair of shoes a month. So trainers, you have to get like 6.
You need something.
But my point is, anyway, it's you know, yeah, I could go to the gym, but you're only training for, what is it, like if you train 1 hour a day, it's 1% of the day, and then I'm doing another 16,000 steps in shoes that aren't designed to fucking walk in.
See, a lot of those shoes as well. That's just saying. I was reading a study about this, even like dress shoes and stuff, you know, for men and girls especially. I'll only get fucking started on high heels, but if we're talking just men's shoes, they actually crush the foot, you know, in the position of it, and you don't get to actually spread the toes or anything. And then obviously, if you just, as you said, you're doing that throughout every single day, leads to a lot of long term damage.
Do you ever read Tim Ferriss's book, The 4 Hour Body?
before. No.
No, it's he has a picture in it about foot health, and there's a picture of an Aborigines' feet from the bottom, and the toes.
Yeah,
are
it looks
really
like a
white.
fucking hand, mate.
Yeah,
I
like-
have seen that.
Yeah,
I have seen that photo. Yeah.
And then it's the guy, like your fucking businessman, in his suit, and his shoes are all curled in. It's almost a form of that. Was it the Chinese or the Japanese used to wrap the woman's feet?
Is that for ballet or anything? Or is it?
No, it was just like because in their culture it was seen like small feet was
Oh right,
a
okay,
thing, like, so it's
attractive.
attractive. So it was an old thing. So they used to bang their feet so that they would have tiny feet. But when they took their the wraps off, like their feet would have been crumpled up, like and it's like these suit shoes. It's not actually that different from it. To be fair, it's maybe
No,
not
it's
as
not.
extreme.
It's not.
Like,
I
but,
know, but like if you like you're talking from someone who's active, but if you're just general 9 to 5 guy or girl who's wearing high heels, let's not beat around the bush. High heels are fucking detrimental to posture,
Yep.
especially in women. And as for guys who wear these shoes, and if you actually work in an office and you're wearing these things around the clock and you're hitting those type of steps, it's going to have a long term effect.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
big time.
There's no dispute there. So it is really important, obviously, that like practitioners stuff do look into this side of things. But I mean, that's just something I've been reading into lately. Weirdly, feet.
Yeah,
We went
feet.
from talking about nutrition to fucking feet, man. I
I
don't even
know,
know.
that's bizarre. Although having said that, a guy I used to work with. Well, one of my two stories. One of them was a guy David I trained, and I seen him on the other side of town one time. He was walking down towards me, and I had 2 bags of shopping in my hand, and I started walking towards him, and he seen me coming towards him, and I just put the shopping both into one hand and reached my hand forward, and he put his hand out as if he thought I was going to shake his hand, and I just pointed to his feet, and I was like, feet, and he went, fuck off, because he's just walking with his feet really
The
badly,
gait was just really off, yeah.
really wide, and I was always giving off to him because it's like you're standing with your feet, like, what is it? It's like it was almost fucking.
If any of my clients are listening to this, they're probably going, "Yeah, that fucker Chris does that to me no matter what I do."
His feet were a 10.
Anything slightly off, it's like, "Wait, fix that."
Yeah.
It's like a Terminator OCD, mate. It's annoying as fuck. You be sitting in a coffee shop and see someone and you start judging their posture and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, leave them be, mate.
What? I
they're
know,
not.
right?
They're not you for fuck's sake.
Watching people run and shit like that there, and you're going,
Yeah.
like, fuck me, stop doing that. Do you know what are you doing?
Running's a big one whenever like you're driving down the road and stuff. But this is an interesting thing I brought up recently. Working with so I went to speed seminar recently. And something that got brought up in discussion. If you're a field-based athlete, right, talking rugby, football, hockey, whatever it is you do, it's very unlikely that you're ever taught how to run. And a lot of this running, this gait pattern, just comes from self-development, self-taught. But if you watch a lot of even pro athletes and look at their gait, Mane from Liverpool is a really good example. His running was all over the place, really out of the centre line, and just really, really bad pure technique. But he's one of the top level, Premier League footballers, and you're like, why is this not taught? Why this is a fundamental skill that
Yeah.
athletes are never taught. I was never taught it. Were you ever taught it?
No.
Did anyone ever? Unless you go out to a running club, and even then, a lot of those guys don't actually look at your running technique. It's looking at the development of racing and whatever else. I've worked with a cross country runner, and thankfully got a lot of good tips. I went to these things because I wanted to find out more. Because I'm obviously not a fucking runner. Look at me, mate. But as a strength and conditioning practitioner, you need to know this stuff. You need to look into it. And I was starting to ask these questions. Like, no one's taught it. And can you teach someone that when they're at an older level? All you can do is try and work on these different drills and stuff. But you do find then that
Well, how many years of bad technique do you have behind you? How much of that
how
can
much
you actually
injuries
fix?
are occurring as well from this. There is a real prevalence in hamstring injuries, ACL, you name it, anything in the lower extremity, and it's not just due to the impact. Impact's different. You get a bad tackle, you can't do anything really to train for that. But
Talking about age, like just when you're saying about injuries and like, guy I work with in the bar, he fucked his Achilles or fucked his foot recently, and
2 years in the bar, mate.
I know, and he I know, right? Actually, but he was
something into that.
I know, but he fucked his playing football, and I says, Matty, here's the problem, and he says, what? I says, you're too old, and he says, what? I says, you're too old to be playing football. He says, how am I too old to be playing football? I'm fucking 38. And I'm like, exactly, you're too fucking old to be playing football. It's like you're playing five-a-side. It's more aggressive than professional football. You're fucking kicking the shit out of each other. on the pitch is breaking each other because somebody's fatter than you and can't move, so they're just like, right, wipe them out.
You're just falling a bit. The impact of running it, everything's just bringing you down.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And they don't warm up and they don't do all the things. You know, all the shit that you should do. No one does it.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why they fall to bits. Because when you pull someone on, it's like, well, did you warm up? Did you do these things? No, I didn't. Like, exactly.
Do this stretch and do that stretch and then run on
Stretch
the fucking
quads,
pitch.
bro.
Yeah, that's it.
But no, it is interesting, I suppose, when you look into it. It's like, and age in sports definitely big. That's one thing we were talking about quite recently is age in sport. Like when you're too old to play. I mean, even that guy, I'm like, fair play. At least you're still doing something. But you're completely right. The body can't adapt to that stimulus the way it could. 20
when you're
years
20,
ago.
yeah,
100%. But I mean, fair play to him, but at least doing something.
Oh yeah, no, and he used to be a Golden Gloves boxer like as well. Like he's a fit wee lad like, but I definitely think even when I was PTing, man, there was a guy Colin used to come in and I ended up giving off to him one time. I was like, look, dude, I need you to stop playing football. And he's like, why? I love it. And I'm like, you're fucking, how many, 2 hamstring injuries. And I mean, one day he caught the ball on his chest, stopped the ball with his chest and tore half his pec off his chest from the fucking impact.
Jesus.
Do you know? And I'm like,
but it's at that point, like, if you're, it's alright from some like,
it was actually 3 hamstring.
like, oh, but if they've done their strength thing, it's like, yes, if they've done strength and conditioning, then obviously it could help that stuff, but who the fuck is going to take a strength and conditioning coach on just to improve at 5-a-side? It's very unlikely,
But his thing was he just wanted to stay fit. He wasn't
Yeah.
like trying to. He was like doing 5-a-side, or he wasn't even doing 5-a-side. He was playing for a team, but he just referees now. But it's my point is, it's like when you reach a certain point, it's like I appreciate that you want to be able to play football. But you're probably not going to be able to.
Yeah, it's come to the stage. And this will be. We were both obviously talking about it earlier before. Is that what happens to the athletes after they stop? Big thing at the minute. It's such a hard concept to actually give up sport. I mean, I definitely went through it even at a younger age, where impact-based sports were just something that you couldn't do anymore. And I was always shit at football, so there's no problem there. Love football, just shit at it. But I mean, whenever I was like in my early 20s, late teens, I loved Thai boxing. Me and my best friend used to go for a few years to I think it was Ulster Sports Club it was called, and then I kind of kept progressing with it, went more into the MMA route and did that for another year. So absolutely loved it, mate. But I have a metal plate in my ankle, even still to this day.
How did you get the metal plate actually?
I wish I could tell you some great sport related story, mate, but it was literally young Chris trying to impress 2 girls on a trampoline, and she said pretty much if you got 2 front flips, they would both give me their number. I got the first front flip, no sweat, and I tried the second one, landed, and the foot was pointing backwards, mate. Straight to the hospital, 6 pins, 6 screws, and a really, really messed up career after that. I mean,
surely you got the second number for an attempt there, man. Like, even sympathy. No,
I think I might have. I'm gonna say yes just because I'm on this. But
harsh,
man,
man.
nothing came out of it. Don't worry. They were just like, "Fuck, he broke his ankle. See you later." But that actually, joking aside, that was a big turning point for me then, because I mean, you're doing these sports and you're really highly involved. But I was still doing it even after. I was training with Stephen McNeil for up in a place called the Fitness Factory, which was located in Finnegan. It's gone now. And he was pushing me to go for a fight at the time. I was like, yeah, definitely. But as I say, I had this metal plate. So I can't remember really what happened, the ins and outs of it. But we were in sparring one day and I landed. It was just a kick. And his elbow was pointing down underneath the pad, whoever was holding it. And my foot landed, hit his elbow. Next thing was a little swelling around the ankle. Couldn't walk or anything. So I had to go to a fracture clinic. Get it checked. The doctor was speaking to me, and then I had to go to GP after that, get a referral. And he was like, mate, like, your screws have moved, literally. And if you want to feel them after, mate, there's still 2 of them sticking out on the right hand side. Yeah, I can feel them now. And he was like, you're gonna need to get another operation here to keep this up. Is this what you're doing for? And at that time, I hadn't had a fight. I still haven't. It's something, a big regret of mine, unfortunately. But life is what it is. And
I've had a few fights, man. Just none of them were professional.
Yeah, well, we'll not go down that road. But anyway, that happened, and he was like, right, you can't do that. I was going to go for it anyway. Went back to the club that week. I ended up in a car crash the same fucking week, which dislocated my right hip and had real bad scoliosis in my spine. I wish this was lies, mate. This is all true story. And you know, then after that, like I went back to the club, and everything you work for was just gone.
Yeah.
Couldn't move the same. The leg didn't work the same. Now, I wasn't great or anything, you know, but I loved it. And I really thought, like, this is before the likes of McGregor and all around, you know, but you have this in your head. Like, I'm a huge Rocky fan.
Yeah.
You know, the whole underdog story, and you're like, right, all this shit that you went through growing up, and you're training, you finally found something, and it's taken away from you. You know,
Yeah.
it's just gone. And you're like, right, what the fuck do you do now? So, as I say, I started, like, literally, I remember that week, probably one of the hardest weeks of my life, mate. I've been through a lot of stuff growing up, you know, but that was definitely one of the hardest things. And I remember, like, getting all my equipment and selling it to the gym owner that same week, and I couldn't even look him in the fucking eye. I was just like, take it. That was me done. Never went back. And then I was still doing my HND and, you know, things like that. And then pushed on, kind of a couple of years, went through some mad shit there. And then a couple of years later, went back to just normal boxing with a few friends, you know, done that for a year. But that was just training. It was just something to keep in mind. So I've always been into that side of things,
Yeah.
you know. And then when I moved to England. So this was that kind of pushing on. Like, I didn't talk about the personal side of it. It's just the career side of, like, the sporting career side. And then I moved over to England, and I was done with boxing, done with, you know, kind of completely lost. So just took strength and conditioning serious. I was practicing my craft
Yeah.
for other people. And I'm sitting in the fucking gym one day, and this dude comes over to me, and he's like, "Hey, you're that Irish guy that always squats, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Well, am I? Is that what the fucking know me as?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm Ryan." I was like, "Yeah, I'm Chris, blah, blah." And he goes, "What are you doing? What are you training for?" And I was like, "I'm just doing this." I was doing five
Five
by
sets of five, yeah.
Yeah, strong lifts at the time, just doing that 3 days a week and just working on strength. But squat was pretty good at that stage. And that's obviously what stood out, because you were doing it 3 times a week, and you're always hogging the fucking squat racks, and
Yeah.
they probably didn't like you. Anyway, he got chatting. He's like,
Because they wanted to go and do bicep curls in it, for fuck's sake.
and who am I to stop? Curls for the girls, bro. But so he gets chatting, and then he was like, "Would you like to get in the Olympic weightlifting?" So I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." Because that's a part of strength. That's a big thing in strength conditioning, especially. So, like, I'll definitely take you up on that. And then we started out.
So, like, right, you went from, so you had the injury, but you were doing, you did compete, didn't you, for Olympic lifts, or did you just?
No,
you didn't.
This is why. We done a local meet in a CrossFit box at the time. That was good fun, actually. But that was as far as the Olympic lifting side of things went. Because it's. Have you ever tried Olympic lifting? Have you ever had
I've done a few. Like, I can't,
you know how hard it is.
I can't overhead because I just don't have the.
Oh, the shoulder.
It's not the shoulder; it's thoracic mobility. So
Okay.
I have like what is it? You've lordosis, scoliosis,
Kyphosis.
Kyphosis.
See how kyphosis then?
So I have kyphosis. So that, like, extension of my upper thoracic region.
Yeah, Hunchback and Notre Dame syndrome.
Yeah, that's it. Fucking Jim Bro, fucking douchebag shoulder syndrome. That's what it is.
Too much benching and not enough pulling.
Well, here's the fucked up thing, man. I was always wary of that, so I always actually did a lot of extra back work. I had a pain, hurt my like somewhere lower trap kind of area a few years ago. I actually did it when I was doing my fucking personal training course, because they put us into one of those, like, body pump classes, right? We've got to show you,
right.
know. And during the body pump,
Thankfully, I teach personal training. It's definitely came a long way since that crap, mate.
yeah, well, that's it. I fucking they put us into one of them. It's like, oh, you have to be able to do these classes. I'm like, I'm never gonna fucking do this. But
No,
I got the
it's fucking
injury
useless, yeah.
in that class, and it's always there. Like, if it's kind of like it comes on with the tattooing, essentially, because I'm hunched over for a long period of time.
Postural. It's postural.
It's
yeah.
postural issue. But I finally went to physio for it, and he's like, put your arms up over your head. Got me to do all these stretches, and then he goes, your traps, your lats, and your rhomboids, and I cut them off and went, are all a bit tight. And he goes, no, they're all oversized. And I was like, yeah, they are. It's like, no, it's not. It's like,
and then you just leave.
Yeah,
Man, I didn't even fix you. I don't give a fuck. You said I'm big. See you later. Mom, I'm massive.
That's it, man. But essentially, I basically have been doing too much fucking back work. Too many rows.
Oh, you're overcompensating.
I've overcompensated. So, like, it's just basically locked that whole area up, and I don't have like much. So it's obviously I'm not doing enough rotational stuff with my spine, obviously.
Well, that was definitely like, I was in this. I definitely understand that, because that was going back to your question. That was where the Olympic lifting, why it didn't progress as well as I wanted it to, was for thoracic mobility and shoulder mobility. A real problem with the rotator cuff on the right hand side, I think, was, I can't remember, honestly it was like 3 or 4 years ago. But anyway, I remember we were training weightlifting. My clean and jerk, like it went up very, very fast, but the snatch, mate,
Yeah.
I had absolutely no hope with the snatch.
Yeah.
So obviously you got to set a total. The other thing that happened, so as I say, Ryan took me on. He was teaching me this stuff. Ryan's still my coach at the minute, so I mean I'm still with him, only for powerlifting now instead of Olympic lifting. So he took me under his wing, and he was like, right, you know, you've got this strength, let's try and tap into it. And we were doing weightlifting for maybe I'm going to go for 2 or 3 years, just training up in the strength and distance street every Wednesday, just working on it. And then I was following just my own training on the outside of it, which was still all Olympic lifting based, but your strength tends to increase if you're Olympic lifting anyway, especially in squats, deadlifts, anything pulling from the floor and whatever. And then, as I say, we done a wee local meet, just mess about. That was my friend at the time over there, Tiernan, and he was working out of a CrossFit box. And he kind of put it all together. It was great crack. And it was like the same thing, really, really strong on the clean and jerk for that time, for the level of time you're doing it as well. You know, you're up over around the 100 kilo mark for only doing it.
That's fucking good.
And then the snatch was like barely I think I was delighted to get 60, mate, at that stage, because my shoulders were so bad. But you have to remember then, even looking at that physiologically, I was boxing a year before I moved across the water. Even though I wasn't fighting, you're still doing that type of training.
So do you think that's what caused your thoracic issues? Essentially, was the
I didn't do anything to fix it. Put it like that. I wasn't physically aware that there was even a problem there until I started Olympic weightlifting. So it's a good screen. That's why they still use things like overhead squats and all to screen people. Not saying it's a great diagnostic tool. I'm just saying they still use it.
But it is decent. I mean, part of my warm up, I just hold like I do 10.
A doll overhead and do.
Well, I hold a foam roller because
the narrow grip.
It's a narrow grip, so like I just press it like the side. So like whenever I'm doing my overhead squat, like if it's here.
Yeah, it's helping. That's what I'm saying.
Down,
but the only reason I say it's not the best is because like we get a rugby player in and they can't do an overhead squat with a stick, but they're unbelievable at their sport. I'm not gonna put, do you know what I mean? But if we're looking at the needs and analysis of Olympic weightlifting, I did need that. So the snatch didn't really go as planned. Loads and loads of work on it, and I can do it efficiently now. Still teach the stuff. But anyway, you know,
you can do it efficiently, but it'll never be.
It'll never be of a very high standard, and that's just something you accept. But what did happen on the offset of that was the strength just kept creeping up.
Well, you're doing an explosive movement, aren't you?
Yeah.
So like if you
power production was just there.
Absolutely.
Natural.
So that's going to improve your deadlift, your squat.
So we've done that for about 2 years, and then I came home. As I say, came home in 2016, and then literally it was. I think I came home in June, and it was the competition through NIPF in August, Summer Showdown, I think it was called, and. I was like, fuck it, we'll give this a go. But I didn't know anything about powerlifting, mate. I knew, because I'm not a big fan of equipped powerlifting, I'll be honest. I know a few people probably grill me for it saying this, but I'm not. It's not my thing. I prefer a classic. I prefer to see people shift weight with their weight, you know.
Yeah.
That's always what's appealed to me. Same with Olympic lifting. It's someone just doing it. There's no equipment. It's just fucking you lifting a weight. That's what appeals to me. I have a lot of respect for equipped powerlifting. You know, I've seen it, and I was like, fuck, I can't do that. It's a skill in itself. It just doesn't appeal to me. I was never a big fan of it, so I went down and I didn't really know about classic powerlifting because all I'd ever seen was equipped. Yeah. At that time.
I love the fucking idea of doing a classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for me.
Too many injuries.
No, do you know, I 2010, really, really bad fucking snow, right? And went in training in a rock pit. Do you remember the rock pit? You ever trained?
I never trained it, but I know it. It was out in Lisburn direction.
Fucking awesome gym, man. I would have said like probably the best gym in Northern Ireland at the time. And I'd be hard pushed to see a gym that was actually fucking better than it now.
Come to Game Forth, mate.
I'll be right over. Sorry. Yeah, fuck shit.
Get that name drop in there. Brendan, did you hear that?
But I actually do need to get over to you guys. But
no, definitely do, mate. I've just even on that, I don't mean the story, but I mean, I'm the same. Like, I think over here, just facilities in general have definitely improved. Just on the back of what you're saying there, like.
Well, the Rock Pit was a fucking bodybuilding gym, and it was nothing but like, you know, and in terms of equipment wise and stuff, it was great. But even just.
But if you go into the gym now, like, you're seeing platforms, seeing racks everywhere, getting bumper plates in, you're getting decent standard equipment. Like, everything seems to be getting better. And that's definitely what pulled me over to.
There's definitely more squat racks going in the gyms, and that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So it is like, and even what do you call it, like commercial gyms? Like, you're walking into fucking Pure Gym and they have 4 squat racks. Like, what the fuck? That's not something you would expect.
Wouldn't have got it back.
Do you know, like what was Pure Gym before? LA Fitness.
LA Fitness.
I did my personal training in there.
Same.
And they'd 1 squat rack in it. Do you know? And now you walk in there and there's.
If you look at this, the chains of facilities, I mean. And even
CrossFit's
the way people
a
are
big
training, CrossFit is a big. I was gonna
big
steal the words out of my mouth, mate. That's one thing I'll definitely give them credit for, is that they almost commercialized the strength side of gyms.
Yeah.
You know, they've made that into like that's what people want. That's what people. And I'm all for it.
I fucking love them for it, man. But
don't really want to get into the CrossFit debate with you because obviously it's not what we're talking about right now. But I mean, yeah, aside things like that, brilliant. Some of the programming aspects, nah.
Here, no, I'll happily.
We'll get back to it. But yeah, you know, there's like, all I ever say is there's pros and cons about powerlifting, pros and cons about strongman, pros and cons about CrossFit, and pros and cons about fucking everything. Yep. Get on with it. If you're happy in what you're doing and you're not annoying others, crack on with it. You know.
Bruce Lee said Jeet Kune Do was the way of the intercepting fist. Yeah, that's what it stood for. And what he did was he practiced in every martial art, and he disregarded what was useless and took what was useful. And
kind of we were talking about the book earlier, you know, like deciphering research, and that's what you fucking do.
That's it. You've got to take what is useful and disregard the rest. And like you say, there's pros and cons to everything. I was telling a story, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, we'll do this, mate. It was about you were gonna go for the powerlifting, but you kind of.
Yeah, well, So 2010, I was training in the Rock Pit and fucking hurt my back warming up. Always hurt it warming up, and fucking it was snowing on the ground. I couldn't even walk home because the ground was so fucking icy. It was awful, and like, it was so bad. I was in work and I dropped a card on the floor, serving a customer, and she was fucking pensioner. And I was.
I had to ask her.
She had to pick it up for me. She had to fucking pick it up for me. Yeah. So so I just have like that lower back issue every once in a while. It doesn't come on too often. I'm actually very, very good at training through it, and it only hurts me now if I skip the gym. It doesn't hurt me.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, strength training is probably the best remedy for that too, when you're doing it right.
Absolutely. And then, but then also in the Rock Pit, I was doing pullovers.
Yeah.
And I always did my pullovers with a 20-kilo dumbbell. And
you're probably in a big, like.
Well, that wasn't the issue, actually. It was I've always been quite strong for my build, and somebody was using a 20-kilo dumbbell, so I got the fucking easy bar, and it's not the same grip. You know, like, my hands weren't as close together. Oh, you told me
about this before.
So I was using the fucking easy bar, and I went down and went the same depth as normal, but just with that slight fucking variation in wrist movement. My left shoulder just popped right out, dropped the fucking bar on the floor, and it popped right in instantly. But the fucked up thing about that is, like, if you're right-handed, you put your coat into your right arm into your coat, and then when you swing round, you go to put your left arm in. You've been doing that for 20 odd years, so that's fucking habit. I had to retrain myself to put my left arm in first, and that doesn't sound like a big deal, but every time I put my fucking right arm in and swung my left arm in, my left arm popped out.
Once changed the habit, it's like, yeah.
So that was months of that. So bit of a.
So powerlifting's, you're done with that.
Yeah, and then because what I do is the reason I use straps is simply because of the back issue. Because
see, to be honest with you, straps are fine. Like, all I'm saying is they don't use them in the competition, but people still use them for training.
I only use them for volume, so I don't use them for one rep maxes.
Yeah.
I think it's Dorian Yates said, like, if you're training your back, your biceps, your grip's going to tire before your back does. So, like, for bodybuilding purposes anyway, you know, like, so if you're doing fucking pull-ups, and you don't have the forearm strength to do 50 pull-ups, but you have the lat strength to do 50 pull-ups, then
it's what you're trying to target.
Yeah, so
is it the
you
grip
should-
strength you're trying to work, or is it, what are you trying to improve?
yeah.
Then it's it matches.
That's it. And then my dad has one knee replacement, and he's looking a second, and he has arthritis. And just every time I'm stocking the bar in the I'm like,
Are you next?
my fucking knees are done here, like, So it's knee straps now, and the knee straps have only been the last year, but it's because I started doing. So I do, for the most part, since my Achilles injury, it hasn't really been the way I train, but I'm kind of doing the strongless just kind of thing now. But it was Wendler's 531.
Yeah.
So like if you're doing as many reps as you can of your 1 rep max on week 1 at 75%, I can get fucking 20 reps at 100 kilos. 107.5.
Yeah, but he's
actually.
looking at for longevity, so it's like a repeatability.
Yeah.
You can run, like, it's like every program. Like, if it's generic like that, it's designed so you can rerun it.
Yeah.
And that's why, they're good for that type of use. Really, there's no such thing as a bad program. It's how you follow it.
Yeah.
Because even someone could go to the gym with the worst program in the world, but just the fact that they're fucking doing something and they're being consistent about it, they're gonna see some form of results. Is there better options out there? Yes, but it's the fact that you're doing something. That's why you get this consistency. That's what I'm looking for. It's consistency of doing something.
Yeah, there's no going in and smashing that one workout. That's not the workout that got you in shape. It was the last fucking 100 shitty workouts that actually got you in shape.
Yeah, because I remember, like, I've made tons of it. The thing is, you talk about this stuff now, but it comes through years of experience of making a lot of mistakes, especially with program. But even
somebody asked me, why would I go to you as a personal trainer when I could just go to the gym? And I'm like, go to the gym, and then in 5 years' time, when you've learnt everything that I don't no longer do, then maybe you'll fucking be able to get yourself into shape. Go to a PT, like
who's had the experience. Yeah. Exactly. You're just cutting out that years of trial and error, and someone else to tell you what. Like, at the end of the day, well, if you look at it, if you go on Instagram or anything, you see people ask those questions, and it's like, what's your advice for a beginner? What's your advice for? And the answer is always the same. It doesn't matter who's putting it up. It's like, go and get a coach.
Yeah.
And this is like, if we talk back to even what I was saying there, it's 2016. So I'd stopped working with someone, and just doing things on my own. Came back and done the first competition. Your powerlifting journey's over, mate. You're done. We'll cut you out of this. Yeah. But mine's only starting, to be honest with you. Like,
what age are you now?
I'm 29, 30 in like a month.
Right. Okay.
Thanks for bringing that up. Is that your revenge there? Is it?
Yeah, you're not far behind me, so fuck you.
Yeah, I know. But so I mean, even when I started out, it was 2000. It was fucked up career there again, like 2016. Came back to Belfast and then moved back around June time, competition in August, just seen it, put my name forward, sorted. Didn't know much about it, as I was telling you. Walked in, pair of ripped squat shoes that my coach had given me. So I was hoping for some like Mike effect there, do you know what I mean? The way he had the magic basketball shoes. Fucking ripped. And the guy didn't even know if he was going to let me wear them, right? Because this IPF approved stuff. And I was like, okay. There was an older dude doing the kit check at the time. I had, is it Ray-Band or whatever the fuck it is, the knee sleeves.
I think it's Ray-Band. I think it's pronounced Ray-Band.
Yeah. I had those ones. They weren't allowed either. And I had no belt at the time. So then I was rocking in this black singlet and a pair of black Converse.
Shit.
Bong. And then, I ended up winning that one. I was 83 kilo at the time. And then the next thing you know, I was selected to represent Northern Ireland off of one competition. You're like, what the fuck? So I'd done that, and then I was like, right, this is definitely getting serious. But you're still at that side of the fence where you don't really know what the hell you're doing, I'm going to be honest, And then I went, let's say, second competition was representing Northern Ireland at the Four Nations. It was absolutely brilliant, mate. And then I kind of thought, this is what I want to do. This is definitely my new sporting purpose.
Yeah.
Then literally, because it happened before that, I was kind of jumping back and forward here, but I was just coming out of the back end of England. I go to Blackpool one day, and just a bit of an intimate story, but I went to go to the toilet and look down, mate, and I'm pissing blood.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh shit,
Nice.
What's going on here? Yeah, lovely. So
it's always exciting.
yeah, and that was before I just came home. Now there was no that was I had like 2 days of pain, you know, and then it was gone. I was kind of back normal. Came back to Belfast, and it was kind of off and on. And then I think it was right after that Northern Ireland based competition that I came back, and I got really sick at one point, and then it was kidney and urinary related, like all. They never really found out what it was.
It's like a symptom of that is rhabdomyosis, I think it's pronounced,
something like,
which is where muscle from overtraining, you can get like the muscle can kind of die a bit, and fluid can lead into your bloodstream and fucking cause your kidneys to fail, and you'll piss blood. I don't know if that's probably not what you had.
I remember. No, you're not far wrong. You know, fucking, you're not far wrong, because that is something that was definitely
probably a factor. I mean,
the initial thing, you know, it wasn't nice for anyone. I had to fucking open a letter in front of my parents, and it said that, you know, the potential was cancer at the time.
Shit, okay.
And you're like, right, okay. Dealing with that wasn't nice, you know, but it is what it is. It wasn't, by the way. Well, you know, all the findings came out, so you're going getting your test done there, and you're going through different things. Next thing, they had me on these antibiotics, so like what they had prescribed, and then I just kept getting worse, you know, and then fucking one stage the fever got really bad, got run to the hospital, out of hours in Lagan Valley, and then, you know, got seen to then. And fucking, she was like, yeah, I've just done your blood work, mate. Are you on, is it trimethoprim or something like that? It was whatever that was. Get off that now. That's causing your kidneys to fail. Everything was just dropping. And honestly, it was the worst. The funny thing is, I went to Bruges actually before that. I'm jumping back and forward. Have you seen the film in Bruges where the Irish guy's fucking dying?
Colin Farrell and fucking...
I'm lying on the bathroom floor. I'm with 3 English lads, and I'm lying on the bathroom floor. And if they're listening now, cheers lads for looking out for me, you know. And I actually thought, this is it. I'm not going to lie. The fever was so... You know when you get a real bad fever and you're sitting there and you're going, fuck me, this is it. Like, and I was like, in fucking Bruges. And then, you know, got back going in the hospital and back and forward. Done that powerlifting competition in between and got away to Northern Ireland. But that took a serious toll on my body in the Northern Ireland one. And then that whole year... So I'd only really started this powerlifting fucking side of things. And then I was a year back and forward, like loads of hospital appointments. Cameras going places you don't want them, and you know, and then like as time went on, say a year kind of passed, a lot of stuff going on with personal life too, and powerlifting just was gone. You know, there was no that was, you couldn't do it, and it was pushed aside. I was still coaching, still had a few clients doing a couple of competitions, but not to the extent that obviously I am now. And then I think it was at the end of 2017. Was it 2017? Yeah, 2017. And I got back in contact with Ryan. I was like, you know, because I was feeling a lot better. I said I was back to myself, no real pain. Still get the odd dull pain. I'm not gonna lie, still get a bit of a dull pain on my left hand side. And I don't think, because it was inconclusive.
That's because you're nearly 30.
Is it?
Yeah. It's nothing to do with your kidneys, man. It's just.
Well, that's all right then. Make me feel good. But you know, got back in contact with Ryan. I was like, listen, I need to get back at this for myself, you know. There was a lot going on. Just needed something to focus on again. And then same thing, you know, we got back into, as I say, fingers crossed, but health wise, 100%. Started that journey, and then we pushed on, started working around, done a competition. That was at the tail end of 2017. Done a first competition in March. Came second in it, but I went to the 93 class, so I put on a lot of weight, which was actually the best thing to do for my health as well. And then done that competition, came second. Off of the back of that, again, it was similar.
How'd you put the weight on? Just fucking eating.
I'll talk about that in a second. So the next competition was then that qualified me for the All Irelands down in Dublin at the Irish Muscle Power. It was amazing. Came second in that, and then off the back of that, you know, qualified for Northern Ireland again in the Four Nations, and then just recently done the Irish Nationals Championship. So it was a really big year to come back. And
how'd the Nationals go for you, by the way?
Yeah, really good, really good. I mean, that's the highest standard you can do in Ireland, so it was a big step up. And lifting amongst guys who I've been looking up to for years, being like they are strong motherfuckers, you know. Yeah. Especially in the 93 class, it's massive. So I'm still currently ranked 5th in Ireland, which isn't too bad in your first competitive year.
No, it's fucking great.
I want to push that up, obviously. But I mean, that's the thing I love about strength training as well. There's just a mutual respect for people who are doing it. You know, people who you can't fake strength. Do you know what I mean?
No,
and you can't fluke it.
If the bar's not coming up
Yeah,
off the ground
if it's
or
not
whatever.
coming up, if you make mistakes, that's different.
You can fake a photo shoot, like, but you can't fucking...
Yeah, and it's something that, like, people say about... I've read this recently about clickiness and stuff. I can personally say that, like, since I've started powerlifting, people have been nothing but respectful and nice to me and, you know, encouraging.
Well, okay, so... kind of why I wanted to get you on, right, to talk was... I've major issues with the personal training industry, the fitness industry, right? And
you want to get me the rant? That's what it is, isn't it?
I do. Just fucking let's fuck these guys over. I hate physique-based training, right? I hate the physique-based personal trainer. Hate's maybe a strong word, but maybe.
I think what you're you're trying to say you hate these transformations. Like
yeah,
12
I do.
weeks, 6 weeks.
Like
physique,
there's a few physique-based PTs out there that I have respect for. Tommy McVeigh from XL, right? When I worked with Tommy was fucking reading constantly. He's like constantly educating himself, constantly taking him off to go and do courses. Tommy is very much like, let's if you want to do a show, Tommy's a guy that you go and train with to do a show. If you want to be in that kind of shape, he's a good, well-educated PT. However, the majority of physique-based PTs, one guy in particular, I'm not mentioning names.
But are you talking? Are you talking like training for physique for shows, or just this personal trainers in like I'll get you from 6 weeks to here, 12 weeks to here? Is that more? You're talking transformation. You're talking the discipline.
The 12-week transformation is what I don't like.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason I don't like it is, when I was personal training, you have a lot of people coming to you that don't like who they are, based off of what they see in the mirror, and they're arriving into these physique. I just want a decent photo of you for my portfolio, so that I can get more clients. And
exploitation.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And basically, they're turning around to people on Monday morning, or basically saying, right, you're going to start Monday with me, right? And Monday morning, you're going to eat a breakfast that you probably haven't eaten in fucking 10 years. You're going to have your lunch prepped, you're going to have your dinner prepped, you're going to have your kids off to school, and you're going to make it to the gym. And you're going to do that 5 days every fucking week. And you're basically getting people to change habits, change their whole life for 6 weeks. They're not changing their whole life permanently, they're changing it for 6 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever. And then by the end of that they have a poor relationship with personal training, with fitness and with health, because it's unachievable. They're on excessive workout programs with excessive calorie deficit diets that are causing probably way more harm mentally and physically than they're doing good. However, if you want to go to a physique-based PT...
Yeah, that's why I was at, because, sorry for interrupting, but I was like, you have to be careful there, Paul, with your terminology, because obviously that in this industry, everything has a fucking label, you know?
Yep.
So physique in itself could be someone training for a competition, or someone training to get on stage, and that's fine, you know, you're signing up for that, but I get what you mean now. You're talking about like these personal trainers being like 6 week, 12 week, and they're just literally extreme calorie deficit, a massive energy output.
Yeah.
You know, there is no fucking secret to that there.
Yeah.
If you want to delve in a bit deeper, then they're selling illegal products, they're making their clients take different things, and it's like, right, that is completely wrong, you know. I just personally wouldn't call that physique training, because obviously I respect, I mean, my friends
like
and
I
stuff.
say, like I say, like, you know, you've got the likes of Tommy, so it's kind of like, it's hard to...
there's coaching and there's PTing, mate.
Yeah,
you
there
know
is
what I mean? That's
indeed,
just, like, at the end of the day, if you're
but you
just firing someone in, it's like, right, I'm going to take you in 6 weeks' time, and I'm going to fucking ruin your body. No long-term consideration, no long-term development, nothing to see like what your health. You're big into the health side of it, obviously, which is great. There's no look at that. It's just literally,
I want a photo and I'm going to exploit you. Yeah,
the sad part is though, mate, that is what a lot of the general public over here fucking want.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You know, and they don't care, and it's like, this is where a lot of
one of the reasons
I see coaches who've been doing this a lot longer than me struggling now, man, you know. Because they don't fit that persona anymore. They're not the Instagram warrior. They're not the fucking Facebook warrior where it's just like me, shredded, fucking, I can make you look like this. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Because you look like that because of your habit, right?
Yeah.
But if we look at just general 9 to 5 public, the gym for most people used to just be fucking something that you done recreationally.
Yeah.
You go and get a workout.
Yeah.
Where now it's like, if you fucking stick on some activewear, you're an influencer. What the
Yeah,
fuck are you
yeah.
influencing?
Yeah.
The only thing you're influencing my temper, which you might be fucking gathering right now. It's like, you're calling yourself an influencer, right? And you're calling yourself this and that. What are you influencing? Who
Yeah.
are you influencing?
Yeah, I know.
Half these motherfuckers haven't even hit puberty yet. Now, I know I have a shit beard, so I haven't want to talk, right? But like they're young, and they're calling themselves life coaches, and they're coming in.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, somebody had said to me, you know, like, who are you going to PT once you're over 30? It's like, well,
people who are over 30, you fucking moron.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You know
like,
what I mean?
see when you're 20, I don't think you've any business. Like you said, there are select few people out there, individuals, young people, up and coming, that are doing fucking fantastic work, right?
Mate, I'll even just on the back, like, because I was saying to you obviously before I went on there, like, there is coaches. I was saying, because me and Paul earlier, Paul said, you know, we were talking about the age difference in coaching, and we had a bit of a disagreement. I was just to say that there is some young coaches out there that are absolutely fantastic.
Well,
but he's right.
I'm not
There's
disagreeing
also
with
a
you.
ton of-
I actually agree with you. There are a ton of young coaches up and coming, but for the most part, it's genuinely somebody that done a transformation themselves and think, well, I could teach people how to do that. And that's actually, I would say that's probably 80% of the personal training industry.
That's fair. I'll give you that. I mean, I'm always going to argue with you and stuff. That's what I'm
yeah,
here
man.
for. You know, but I think the danger is, mate, right? You have to look at the bigger picture of just the industry, I suppose. Is there a market for something? I was talking to the guys I was teaching the other night about this too. There is still billions of people who are obese. You know what I mean? And there's still, like, as saturated as the fitness industry may be, there is still an obesity epidemic. So there's still always going to be room for trainers, right? And they can push into it. The danger is the standard is ridiculously low at the minute. Like, someone came to me the other day and he was like, I'm going to do a week's intense fucking course here and just change career. And I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Because it does, like, but the sad part is he probably fucking could. But
No,
I'm looking at it from someone who's like been around a long time. And I was like, mate, it doesn't work that easy. You know, you're really going to have to put time. Like, and then I was thinking about it, I was like, who the hell?
See, to be honest, your personal training course, right? In my opinion,
it's a driving fucking test.
It's kind of like it's an introductory to find out whether you can be a PT or not. Once you pass it, you're not supposed to say. When I passed my personal training course, I realized when I got the qualification that I didn't know what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And I started getting into fucking reading more and powerlifting more. So getting back to like why I don't like the physique thing and why I like powerlifting, and one of the reasons I wanted to get you on, and I love your posts, is you've actually attacked those like physique kind of.
I still don't like this word physique.
Not physique. Sorry, physique is wrong. The transformation, guys. You've lashed out a wee bit at them. Not.
No,
aggressively.
I mean, at the end of the day, like,
you've made a point where it's like, you know, like you can't, like you just said, you can't fake strength.
You can't fake strength, right? And not even that.
What strength training did for me, right, was I said I used to be 7.5 stone. When I was 7.5 stone when I was 21. The whole way through high school, people called me skinny. Guy in school fucking had a comic book character designed around me being fucking skinny. And every time I look in the mirror, I see skinny, regardless of the fact that I put on 4.5 stone. It's like I'm still that skinny guy, and that's still what everybody else sees. And every time I step on the scales, I'm going like, fuck's sake, do you know I'm still skinny, regardless of the fact that I put on 4.5 stone. Yeah. So then I started doing powerlifting, training for it, and I was never sure if I was actually going to do a competition or not. I just kind of wanted to know what my numbers were for my body weight. And then I was looking at obviously what people are competing at in amateur, intermediate, advanced and professional. And I was seeing where my numbers were in comparison to them. So I was kind of sitting around the intermediate, and I was happy enough with that. And then I was looking at it and I was going, then when I started weighing myself, I was like, instead of seeing skinny, I was going, fuck, you know, if I dropped a kilo here, I'd be fucking strong. Yeah. And it kind of changed that. It changed my mental perspective of what I was training for. So then when I got PT clients in, I used to say to them, like I know you want to lose, 4 inches off your fucking belly, or you want to drop a stone, but let's train to get this deadlift here. Let's train to get this squat here. Let's train so that you can do a pull-up. Let's, get a strength-based goal, because if you start focusing on that, well, the weight loss comes.
Yeah,
because you have to put the work in for it. But if you're going to train for just to get fat off, I'm not saying that it's not a good motivator. It is, but you're always going to look in the mirror and be disappointed. Whereas if you look and go like, well, here, I'm fucking built for strength here.
I find this a lot with females. I
actually find females easier to train because they always came and goes, I want to be able to do a pull-up. Whereas guys just never did that. Guys, want a chest.
Yeah, more
big arms.
It's whatever the perception is from others in their mind, that's what they want to attack. But females, I've found working, I'd say 90% of my clients are female now. And most of them are going down the powerlifting route, but that's by their choice. I don't push it. If you want to train for different reasons, like that's what people forget. Like, although I powerlift and I do powerlifting coaching, I'm still a strength and conditioning coach by trade, so I'm working with boxers. If Barry's listening to this, good luck in New York this week, mate. And I've worked with basketballers. I'm in the Belfast Met with a rugby academy. The lads top of the league at the minute. And there's all these different athletes and revenues and backgrounds that you work with as this type of coach. Powerlifting is just one revenue. So, but I know probably based on my marketing, a lot of people think, right, that's the powerlifting guy, it's a strong guy. But it's a great quote out there. It says strength is never a weakness, and it never is. Training for strength, regardless if you're like talking about even physique and bodybuilding. They always have a strength foundation,
Arnold Schwarzenegger said, like, before you do train for a show, you should be fucking training for power first.
He done some powerlifting.
He did. That's it. He says, like, your muscles aren't going to look as fucking good on stage.
At the end of the day, you have to respect too, and I definitely do. Is that not everyone gives a fuck about their squat, bench, and deadlift?
Most don't give a fuck about their squat anyway.
I'd hide faith, man. But and that's fine. Like, it's not for everyone. Some people do just want to train. I love calisthenics. I'm a huge calisthenics fan. Still trying to incorporate it. Obviously, since we got a lot bigger and finding things harder. But calisthenics training is phenomenal. Just learning to use your own body weight. And you should have that foundation as well, even before you earn the right to put a barbell on your back. So there's a lot of stuff in training that people still...
Yeah, you should be able to bodyweight squat before you can
do things. And you have to respect... That's why I said you'd be careful with the terminology, because I have a big respect for any discipline, because at the end of the day, there's that word, there's discipline. You're doing something, you're actively going out of your way to improve. However, you're completely right. If you're exploiting people, I know what you're talking. You're talking about the trainer who's taking. We're gonna call her Fat Ann, right? Fat Ann comes into the gym and.
Sorry, Ann.
Sorry, Ann, if you're listening. You're lovely and
really nice person.
Okay, a heavy girl or a heavy fella comes into the gym, right? And their goal is to lose fat.
Yep.
But you're just thinking, right, okay, no bother. All I can see is money. I'm looking at you. But this is a person, right? But if that's all you want is bring someone in, fucking strip them right down. You've no empathy at all. It's just literally strip that down. We'll do some fucking unethical shit and we'll get a class result and I'm going to show it off and make a business out of it.
Yeah.
If that's all you're thinking about, then you've just told me everything about you. But if you're an actual coach, bring in someone, sit down with them, have a fucking chat first and be like, right, what are you doing wrong? Let's look at the lifestyle restrictions. Let's look and see what's going on with you. Like, why is it only now that you're addressing this? Has something happened? Have you had a health scare? All these different questions you're supposed to do as a coach, and then work on each individual level and suddenly get the end result in time. Which person do you think is going to come out of the better? Like, the person you've just exploited and pushed away, they might lose some weight, but they're always brilliant, whatever else. But then, generally speaking, they relapse.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And they go back on the
That's my issue.
Yeah,
you're making, you do, like, I would say they probably do fucking 2 12-week transformations a year with the same person, because they relapse and then they're like, oh, fuck, I'm fat again.
Yeah. Because you haven't taught them, you haven't actually broke ever. The thing is, like, I always say this anyway, like, your client should be completely independent of you at the end of all. So when they walk into the gym,
when you PT somebody, you should really be training them to be a PT.
Not to be a PT, but to be independent.
But
be independent.
Like
they understand what they're doing and why. Yeah, 100% agree. Because we'll fall down that road. We'll have even more.
They should be. I mean, okay, yes, not a PT, but they should be educated.
With that too, with certain clients. If we're looking back at powerlifting, like I have more than enough faith in like my powerlifters, who the more experienced ones, to go and coach on a day, to go and handle people on a day, because they've got the experience there, they know exactly what to do, they're competent in it, but they are not qualified coaches as such, so you can still do something, you can still get experience and you can still learn, and that's showing that the coaching's working. My client Lorraine there, she just went over and competed in the Europeans Masters Championship for Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't go because, you know, she's with Ireland-based coaches, right? And they done a great job, put her through it. But she even said herself it was the most confident she'd ever feel going away on her own to a competition of that standard. And that's what you want. Like, that to me was music in my ears, being like, right, you're actually still doing your job. You know, you haven't lost that.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do lose that. Like, even with the ranting and stuff, you know, fucking it's dangerous because you don't want to get so pessimistic in the industry that you end up not loving what you do anymore.
Well, that's one of the reasons I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, and that's fair. Whereas I love it. You know,
Yeah.
I love the hustle and bustle. I love teaching people. I really love that. You know, even coaching, just seeing people, my clients go and do well. They represent, and the fact that they're proud to represent your brand, mate, that's a feeling that I can't even explain.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Even though they all do my fucking head in to get a t-shirt.
I would love to get back into it. I think what put me off was I compromised my own moral code because of being blindsided by that 12-week transformation and clients coming in and going. So towards the end of it, I started to push for. People would ask me, do you do 12-week transformations? I say, no, I do 1 month transformations. And they'd be like, 1 month transformation? I'm like, yeah, you come in and you go to the gym for 1 month and you don't do anything else. I just want to see you here 2 days a week. That's it. And then after that we'll do another month's transformation and you'll fix your breakfast. And that's it.
Slowly,
you know,
slow and steady wins the race.
You know, and then at the end of the year, so instead of paying me, £1,200 for 12-week transformation, for 12 weeks, you can pay me £1,200 for the year, and you'll only come twice a week. But by the end of the year, your body will have fucking fixed a lot of its hormone problems because you're not fucking eating shitty food anymore, or because you've conditioned it, you've reduced. Like if you have a client coming to you and going like, I drink 2 litres of Coke a day, and you're going like, right, well let's reduce it to 1 litre. You know,
just small changes and lead the long. Like Alex Ferguson, one of my favorite quotes: "Every small step leads to the peak of the mountaintop." Right, and that's literally coaching. You take someone in the gym, you look at everything, you break it all down, and you slowly chip away. Because the thing is, you don't just fucking stop living after 12 weeks, do you?
No, definitely
well, some
not.
people don't, but for the most part, we all carry on living. So what are you going to do for the rest of your life? Like the whole purpose of training is to gotta crack the neck.
Oh, fucking
what do you call it? The whole purpose of training, right, is to improve someone's well-being, to improve their livelihood, and to just make them feel that little bit fucking better about themselves, regardless of what the goal is, you know. And people miss that, where it literally has, like even understanding a client and understanding their needs. A lot of trainers miss that, because if you're going into this shit, right, because you've done a 6-week physique, and you're like, I'm going to be a PT now, you're not really doing that to help others.
Yeah.
You're doing that for the attention that it's brought to you and thinking that's going to get you more of that attention. And you can tell by the posts that they put out.
Yeah.
The other thing then that leads to is they have no people skills, because it's all self-absorption. No communication skills, no ability to actually get through the others. They don't really care enough, right? And you see this all the time, because that's not why there's a big difference in training yourself than training others. A big difference. And it's something that needs to be addressed, because you may love training as a selfish component of your own life, but training others is complete. You're dealing with people.
Yeah.
And not everyone's a bed of roses, you know?
Yeah.
And
I think like to be a personal trainer, realistically part of the training should be a wee bit of psychology, you know, a wee bit of mental health, because you have people coming to you quite often in the depths of despair, you know.
This is a big thing at the minute, obviously, and it's something that it's not a nice thing to talk about sometimes, but mental health in social media has become almost a fashion trend. You know, people are exploiting it. And I see people, you know what, even just what I talk about, even to give Brendan his credit, you know, the guy who owns Game 4, he's trying to do this shit right. He's trying to get external organisations in to work with him. So he's training up with mental health at the minute, you know, trying to bring that in the training side of things, getting people on board to help out.
Yeah.
but at the same time bringing in organisations who actually know what they're talking about, who actually help people, suicide victims, like families who are victims.
People, people at risk of suicide.
Yeah, exactly, and bringing in
are,
the right organisations and doing it all and really trying to do it properly. And I'm like, this is good, that's a good initiative. On the other side of things, we've got people being like, well, I know what it's like to suffer from depression, so I know everything about mental health. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Don't be that ignorant. My friend made a really good point the other day. It's like, you may have suffered some form of anxiety or depression, but there's a lot more to mental health than just that.
Yeah.
A lot more. And there's people who we were talking about earlier are properly qualified in this area. Now, I'm not saying you can't help people. Training definitely can. But you still need to realise that's a discipline in itself. You know?
Absolutely. You can't put yourself forward as a mental health ambassador.
Because I've had clients come in, more so in the earlier stages of their career. And they had, I have helped a lot of people. I can thankfully say that on the mental health side of things as well. I definitely have. But they're not just seeing me. They're also seeing counsellors, and they're also seeing, and that's the main thing there.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, that's okay. In the personal training side of things, your job is to get someone their goal regarding their physique. Is it to lose body fat? Is it to build muscle? But at no point in that course is it saying that you have to fix someone's mental state.
No,
because there's courses for that. Even Active IQ now, we're talking about, we've got their level 2 and level 4 mental health initiative. If trainers if you're going to want to work down these things, then I'm telling you, you need to go and start doing qualifications like that as well.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't understand where the fuck, because I've seen this, like girls getting their arse out and then being like, I suffer with anxiety, blah, 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 so I can help you. And it's like, well, why is it a picture of your fucking arse?
Yeah.
Just to get loads of clickbait likes.
Yeah.
But then I'm just looking at you going, if I had mental health issues, I wouldn't go near you.
Yeah.
There's no empathy in that.
No.
It's literally just like any excuse to get the fucking hole out.
Well, the thing, yeah, I mean, yes.
or vice versa, like any excuse to get the fucking top off,
I think for some people, they're seeing the highlight reel of successful PTs, and maybe they're trying to mimic that there, but they don't realise how that fits
how that
with,
journey comes about.
Yeah, and how they make what they want to do, because if you're trying to do something different or niche, there's no real there's no protocol for how to do that, so you end up mimicking other people. So some of that can be like, okay, here's a picture of me in great shape, and since I got into great shape, I have felt mentally better.
That's different.
It is
if you do it the right way, but when it's exploiting, it's it's dangerous.
Well, that's it.
Because I've seen that picture before 10 times to post another whenever there was another trend.
Yeah.
You were using it again. This is the dangerous side of things. The people don't realise they put everything on social media. These days, especially the fleisch offer thing at the minute. Fucking this is another thing. As I say, we're talking about this a lot on Friday night, so it's quite fresh in my mind. So if I do jump around a bit, I apologise.
You go for it.
With the marketing side of things, you're letting people have an insight into what you're doing, right? And people see everything now. But so does all other coaches, and so does all the rest. So there is a judgmental factor there. I like to just follow things out of general interest myself, see what other trainers are doing, and see what the fucking crack is. Because
there's people you follow because they're doing it so badly, it's kind of entertaining, and then there's people you follow because
they're brilliant.
They're doing something really interesting.
There's stuff there. You're just like, right. It's a bit of a madhouse. We're not going to lie here. The fitness industry is a bit all over the place, but it's there's a reason behind it.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get qualified, number one. It's very easy to get your voice heard. Social
easier
media.
Than ever.
Yeah, easier than ever. It's very easy to build this presence. And the other thing is vulnerability, is that it's high state at the minute. People are so, we talk about this lack of purpose, and more and more people feel down in themselves, and they're completely lost, and then they see someone online like promoting these messages, take them in. The sad point of it is this is what annoys me, because I know half of them don't give a fuck. They're just putting that message out there to be a part of something, and be like me. But whenever the actual clients come for help, they don't want anything to actually do with them.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the dangerous message. You know what I mean?
It's funny thing is, as I always say, like when somebody's just away from personal training, as such, you're saying they don't want anything to do with them. A lot of people will say, "Here, man, I can help you out," and then when somebody sends them a message and says, "Here, well, actually, I need a bit of help," it's like, Oh fuck! Well, I didn't actually think you would ask. You know?
So I thought you were just going to like my picture, mate.
Yeah.
All about those likes. And this
Yeah.
is another funny thing that we were talking about. Is the status of likes? You know.
Oh yeah. You put up a post.
If you have a following, it's like that's your integrity as a coach.
Yeah.
And I was like, when the hell did that happen? Because I don't have the biggest following. You know, and maybe people take that as you're just jealous, and that's fine. I'm not, but that's the way I want to take it. I have seen this even on a statistical level now, where I actually did a bit of interest. Like some of these so-called fitness gurus or fucking influencers, with like thousands followers because they get their arse out and get their you know whatever. Just it's like softcore porn, and they get loads of followers. It's not because of your integrity as a coach.
Yeah, it's
right?
because of your ass.
It's because people are perving on you for the most part. Let's be fucking honest. And I'm not saying like to even be hypocritical myself. Like some of that can be good in the sense that we just talked about. If you're showing someone how you went through a journey to get from point A to point B and how you can help them and your experience, that's completely different. That's showing an empathetic side to this.
Yeah.
But when it's just literally like, I have 30,000 followers, so that makes me a good coach, or I've got 100,000 followers, so that makes me like the top end PT, and you're like, right. Well, but then some of the best coaches I know, like I know a guy who's, you know, he's got a degree, masters, UKSA, all these top end certificates. He don't give a shit about social media, but he's busy. You know, he's out working 3 or 4 jobs, working with top end clients and all the rest of it. So there's still exceptions to this norm now. And then when you see these people, you actually go and look at their pictures though. This is the interesting thing about, like I was telling the guys the other night about ban followers and stuff. Personally, I think if you're an online coach, there is probably an aspect where that does look good. But if you go and look at their pictures and they can have like 50,000 likes and they're barely even getting a couple of hundred likes on the pictures, where the fuck are those 40,000 other people?
Yeah.
So AKA, you're not really generating any revenue, are you?
Yeah.
You're not building a business. How many real life clients you have? Then the other thing happens with a lot of these people, they're constantly trying to like throw out programs, they're constantly trying to throw out offers.
Was it you put the
so they're not fucking busy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like I seen someone there the other day. It was like, what was it? 15 sessions for like 200 quid or something. And I was like, what are you at? You hadn't even thought that through.
Yeah.
It's still 15 hours of work you have to do.
Yeah.
It's just literally, I need to make money.
Yeah.
It's become desperation. But they still have thousands and thousands of followers. So where's the real life business application?
I was really arrogant there recently, and somebody said to me about
You're an arrogant fuck.
I do have my fucking moments, man. Somebody had asked me about like would I ever PT again, and I'm like, yeah, but you probably couldn't afford me. You know? And they're like, what do you mean? It's like you can get a PT for this, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't fucking.
Yeah,
do
you're
it
not
for
charging
that.
for that. But that's the thing, mate. Like about knowing your worth and then knowing how to work with people. There's a real difference.
Yeah.
Whenever you're just underselling everything just to get money, you know, like you're the ones who are fucking up the industry.
Yeah.
Whereas I personally have just go and rates, and then if you want to work with me, that's what it is. If you're really serious about it, I'll probably help you out because I want to fucking help you.
Yeah.
But I'm not a charity case. I can't be because you've still got bills.
Well, I know a guy there.
You've still got fucking.
I know a guy
life to live
that had two different rates for people, and he'd have somebody that would come in, and if there were, he would basically.
Pretty much, mate. If someone messages you saying how much you charge for PT, mate,
they're not coming in.
That's a no-go straight away.
Yeah.
If someone
it's the same in the personal training. How much are you? Like, you just get a message saying, or no, tattooing. Sorry, it's the same in the tattooing. It's like you just get a message through saying how much are you. It's like you have those people, and then you have people that send you a picture and go, I want to get this tattoo.
Yeah,
and they don't ask.
What can you do? Yeah,
you know,
like,
can I have a rough estimate?
And then at the end of it, obviously you need to talk about prices. I get that, but if that's the first question you have, I'm like, I've never had one client come from it. I get those messages probably the most common.
Yep.
But then somewhere through the mix, you'll see that little mini essay of someone telling you that why they're coming. I'm like, fucking happy days.
Well, I used to
You're
have
the client I want.
The first personal training client I ever got. I asked him, I was like, so what made you come to me? What made you go with me? Because he told me he had messaged a few PTs, and he said, you didn't talk to me about money. Your first message was, what are your goals?
Yeah, find out about them.
Yeah, and I was so glad that that's what I done on my first fucking client, and it was something that I tried to adhere to the whole way through my career as a PT, and it's also the thing that I try to adhere to with tattooing as well. I try not to talk about money as because £10 expensive if you haven't got it. So like if you're coming to me and you're asking me for a tattoo or you're asking me for personal training, I want to find out what you want first. yes, there's obviously people with a tattoo and that are just going like, right, I got 40 quid. What can I get for that? Do you know?
But they're just wanting something. You
Yeah,
know?
that's it. Some people just want a wee bit of skin coloured. You know, so like the money aspect of things is always, I want to talk about what I can do for you, not how much I can get from you, do you know, for that. Like, so that, and I think that's what separates good PTs and also separates what clients you're actually.
Yeah, because this is the thing, like, are you, like, the,
Yeah, well, we've got 5 minutes, man, so we'll wrap it up and we'll.
Okay, well, we'll finish. This is the thing that that I was talking about with you earlier, obviously, as well. Is like, if you want to work as a coach in this industry, I still think there's a potential for it, because I have to, because I'm teaching these guys.
Yeah,
It's
no,
not
it
even that I have
definitely
to,
is.
I want
Definitely
to.
it.
But this is it. Like, we can sit and complain about it, or we can try and improve the standard.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. But people might, as you say, you've seen some of the posts that I'm putting out. It's not that I'm trying to attack people. It's just that I love this what I do, mate.
No, you're.
And there's people, and I've worked very hard for it. And I've seen other people work hard for it.
Maybe I said that wrong.
No,
Okay,
you said
so
it right. You said it completely
it's
right,
like,
because that is what I'm doing. But it's not to be controversial. It's to be honest. It's to be like, this is, yeah.
I've taken from it that you're trying to educate people
I
to
found
try
a
and
fucking
improve.
£18 personal training course, right?
What the fuck?
I put it. It'll be on.
There's one on Group 1 I actually got tagged in
that's
recently. Yeah, yeah.
18 fucking quid, right? But I'd look at the fine print and this shit, because I'm a boring bastard, right?
Yeah.
So I sat down and I found it in the fine print. It says, even though in the title it says accredited diploma, all these buzzwords that get people in.
Yeah.
Once you look at the fucking fine print, it says this certification does not qualify you to work as a personal trainer. So what the fuck does it do? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But there's still people get these things and get these really shitty ass qualifications, and they're working in our gyms. They're undercutting the industry, and they're putting out really poor service. If I scroll through Instagram even now, mate, I'll find 50 videos of people putting up piss poor squats, terrible deadlifts, you know, just anything for attention. And it's like the service, and they don't even know that it's bad, or if they do know it's bad, and then why? Like,
well, most of them don't.
yeah, we all make. No one's perfect.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're posting out like, my client done Unreal today, 100-kilo squat, and they barely bend their knees, and their back looks like it's going to crumple on them. Their knees are collapsing inwards, and I'm like,
Really
what?
high bar,
What are
bars
you
resting
doing?
on their neck.
Aye, I'm like, what are you doing? Or they've got a bar pad and it's pushing for it. You're like, what
That
are you
cracks
doing?
me up.
Right?
I just want to go up and like.
I could go in the town. That's it. But what I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is like, the standard may be bad, but we have to. If you're serious about coaching, I still think there's a room for, you know, people to come in the industry and improve the standard there too. Because I say I've seen loads of off the top of my head, I can name 10 coaches who are fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, and you gladly network with them. You gladly send them on brilliant what to do. And some of them aren't even like the highest qualified. It's not just about qualifications. You still need people skills, and you still need an understanding of why you're
A drive to
doing
be better.
yeah, and,
you know.
and that's the ones who succeed. It's the ones who just get complacent. I've met people with degrees, mate, and masters who are the biggest dickheads you could ever meet. They've
Working
no
in a
people
bar,
skills.
I love that,
Yeah,
man. I
you
work
know.
in a bar, and you get people going like, "Oh, you just work in a bar. I'm doing a degree in business." It's like, yeah, I work with 4 people that have your fucking degree, man.
Yeah,
you
they're
think
still
just because you're
doing
doing a
it.
degree
So,
in business,
you
you're
know,
better than me? Fuck off.
Yeah, and it's like you have to lose that pretentiousness too.
Yeah.
It's what you do with them.
Yeah.
Yes, you can use it to market and stand out. Absolutely, I've done it myself. But what you're really doing is using that education to apply it to a business.
Yeah.
You know, to actually get people results, to do real life coaching. Instead of just, right, I'm a PT, everyone look at me. You know, fucking, so's 100 million other people now.
Yeah.
Well, you're not unique.
Yeah.
Snowflake.
No, I know, right? I
Not
know.
allowed to say that word.
I know.
But
All right, dude.
we'll go on all day. But
Here, look, I would absolutely fucking love to do this again, because there's definitely loads of other stuff we wanted to talk about. We didn't cover the fact that you got stabbed. I would really love to hear that fucking story.
You had to
like,
bring that one
you know, I really want to hear that, and I'm sure other people do now that it's been dropped in there. We talked a wee bit before we even got started about a few of your own mental health issues.
yeah.
You know, like maybe something I'd love to cover. I really, really enjoyed this fucking podcast, but unfortunately we've got a minute and a half left of recording time, so we're gonna have to just cut it short.
Gotta love a good Sunday morning rant.
Here, man, that was fucking great.
No,
fun.
honestly, I say if I'm glad. I'm sure we did ramble on a wee bit and kind of jumped over the place, but that is conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I enjoyed it, mate, and thank you very much.
No worries, Chris. Thanks very much for coming on, and let's do it again.
Definitely.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.